So I watched Smackdown. I don't know how, but I got twice as many notes for a shorter show. It's probably mostly just because of the Divas Halloween costume battle royale. It's just because I commented in every single costume, and it's how we started the show. So I'm gonna start with that. And I was like, oh shit, we're really starting with a women's match. But you know what? That was okay because if you really want to make the curtain jerker the one match I do not give a flying fuck about watching tonight, that's fine because that means it's all uphill from here. Or at least one would hope. So it's a costume battle royale, which means every girl's in a costume. And since I have not watched wrestling in a long fucking time, the first girl coming out was Paige, and even when the announcers told me who the hell she was dressed up as, I had no fucking clue who she was. Apparently she was Summer Rae, who was another women's wrestler. So at this point in time, I have to assume that Paige's entire gimmick at this point is to piss off every other girl in the back. She wants no real friends. As I go through this, I'm gonna tell you what my first impressions were of their costumes, and I'm gonna tell you what their costumes really were. Now that's how it comes out. I asked, is she one of the characters from Candyland? And then I'm informed that she is the Queen of Hearts. And I'm like, okay, I can see that. Naomi comes out. I'm like, so she's a soldier? And I don't think they ever actually stated what the fuck she was supposed to be, so I'm assuming a soldier. Then Summer Rae finally comes out, and I'm just like, oh, that's who Paige is. Paige is this girl. Because I didn't know who Summer Rae was before this. I still really don't know who Summer Rae is. She's like Summer Rae is a schoolgirl nerd. Though I ask myself the question, since technically Paige is Summer Rae, does that mean Summer Rae's in this match twice, and if either of them wins, Summer Rae gets the title shot? Anyways. Layla comes out as a clown, but she's acting like a mime because she's miming. I don't think she knows what a clown is. Emma comes out. Emma is very clearly ODB. Though they claim that she's Tarzan or Jane, but she's fucking ODB. Rosa comes out as a nurse from Silent Hill, though they just say a zombie nurse. You could call it a nurse from Silent Hill. Cameron is a cop. First of all, I would say it was the best costume, and it is also one of the only costumes where just from a glance you can immediately tell what the fuck it was. Alicia Fox is Urkel. Because she has these giant fucking suspenders. But they informed me she's a firefighter, and it was at that point that I realized that her hair was so big it was hiding the fucking fireman's helmet behind her head. And then Nikki Bella comes out, and she's a black cat. I didn't have any guesses of what fuck she was. I actually guessed a cat. I was just like, I don't know exactly what she is. I see ears. A cat? It was right. And then we're informed that Brie is not in this match, and we go to a before SmackDown started clip because apparently we have cameramen just posted all around the building just in case something happens before the show starts. And Brie's actually dressed up as Daniel Bryan. And that is the last we see of her because she is sent to San Antonio and they're in Houston by Nikki. Yeah, you can tell no one likes or even cares about the whole Nikki torturing Bree thing, because even when the announcers are talking about this part, they sound like they do not give a flying fuck about this. They're so uninvolved. They don't care. Which means I don't care. Which means no one cares. So it's a very standard battle royal. A whole bunch of weak spots. And I'm glad the announcers can recognize these girls, because a lot of them to me are fucking changeable. And they can tell me who's getting eliminated. I assume Paige or Alicia Fox was going to win just because of the way the storylines were going to go. I actually turned out to be wrong on this one. That's okay. Emma acts like a fucking moron because she does the tarantula stretch, which where you're on the outside of the ropes. Oh, and apparently, sorry, I forgot this. I skipped a little bit ahead. Apparently, in this match, we are informed that the rules are you have to go through the ropes and fall to the outside to be eliminated. I assume through or over. Though this is right after we saw Rosa get eliminated by being shoved under the ropes. I don't think that should count. But that's just me. But yeah, Emma, knowing the stipulations, Emma does the fucking tarantula stretch. And of course she gets fucking eliminated because of it. And I just write down here, I really miss Beth Phoenix. Natalia is obviously obviously the best talent out of all these girls. She actually shows some fucking athleticism. I get surprised that Nikki Bella wins this match, and I'm just gonna move on because I don't want to talk about it anymore. Fuck it. Next segment is another match. I'm going to just tell you right now, I like, even though that battle royal was kind of stupid, I like SmackDown better than Raw, just for two reasons. One, it's fucking shorter. And two, the amount of segment of talking to wrestling, there's so much more wrestling, and that's what I want out of a fucking wrestling show. So match 2 is Kane versus Dolph Ziggler. And of course, since no one came out with Kane last time, and he lost, this time, Seth Rollins and the Goons, Jamie Noble and Joey Mercury, accompany him to the ring, which automatically means we know who's fucking winning this match. Then we see the flashback to Raw, where Orton RKO's Seth Rollins. And it actually made me think of something I didn't think about on Raw. Because Randy states, maybe I lost my match against John Cena at Hell in a Cell because on Monday Night Raw, a whole 6 days before the pay-per-view, you curb stomped me. I cannot talk. Which, then, not only does he proceed to RKO Seth Rollins also has injured ribs and proceeds to barely lose to John Cena that same day. So, Randy, your argument is fucking invalid. Just saying. Anyways, Kane gets the mic, and I wish they would take it away from him. Because he goes on some spiel about Halloween, and then announces the main event. And I'm thinking, considering how pissed he looked after fucking Dolph Ziggler beat him, I am amazed. I can't believe he's talking so much about other shit. And also they're discussing. They're pointing out that the main event, Survivor Series, which is supposed to be Team Cena versus Team Authority. Which, by the way, apparently Cena is on Team Cena, which means we're not getting a title match. Which means this would be the second pay-per-view in a row with no title match. Where the fuck is Lesnar? He hurt? Because last time a champion got hurt, they stripped him of the title. They did that with Batista. I don't know. My point is that of course they feel good about giving. By the way, they're doing a special. Month of November is free. You get Survivor Series for free. So yeah, of course they feel good giving you Survivor Series away from free when they're not going to have a fucking title match. What's the point of the pay-per-view? You got away with it last month by saying there was no number one contender when you had a number one contender match. When you have a number one contender, give him his match. Why are you making him wait? Survivor Series is supposed to be one of the big four. So you're going to wait till after? What's after anyway? Is it table ladders and chairs? I don't know. Whatever it is, it's stupid. And they also proceed to basically say the main event. Our plan is for the main event to be just five guys on Cena, 5-on-1 apparently. It's not going to be a match. It's going to be a 5-on-1 beatdown. So our main event's a lie. Anyways, they get done talking after they spend half a minute calling out, basically half a minute trashing on Ziggler. And I had to ask a really dumb question. Why the hell does Ziggler come out with the title on backwards? I mean, I understand to buckle it, you have to do it backwards and spin it around. But when you come out with it on backwards, you look like a moron. Granted, Dolph Ziggler has looked like a moron for a long time, so whatever. Maybe that's just his character. Maybe he's just... I don't know. This match kind of sucked. Ziggler looked good in this match because he's, speedy and energetic. But oh my fucking god, Caden worked one of the slowest matches I've ever seen him work. Yeah, it's still his punches look like they fucking kill you. I take a note here that at one point Kane hurt his shoulder by running his chest into the corner pad. Is that spot where you go to ram your shoulder into the guy and he jumps out of the way and you fly through and hit the post? Yeah, he didn't even come close to the post. He just clearly ran his chest into the corner pad and grabbed his shoulder. At one point, the distractions start. Noble distracts Ziggler. Ziggler actually manages to kick out after that distraction. And I also have the question: between the Usos, Ziggler, and Rusev, how is the super kick? I've seen they all do super kicks. I've seen them all try to do or at least do super kicks. Do or at least try to do super kicks over the past week. Apparently the super kick's not a finisher anymore. That's kind of a fuck you to Shawn Michaels, isn't it? Or maybe just Shawn Michaels was so good at kicking people in the face that just put people down every time. I don't know. Eventually gets the choke slam for the victory. does a second one, and then gets the goons to beat him up, apparently send a message. And then he makes another match where it's Ziggler versus Rollins. Rollins just, it's a 10-second match. Rollins does a curb stomp and pins him. By the way, 3 out of the technical 7 matches tonight, because I'm going to count that one, last less than a minute, or at least less than 2. At least of actual wrestling. Next, Heath Slater comes out and he's dressed as a scarecrow. He starts to talk, and then Ryback comes out, and we know what's going to happen here. So apparently the 4th match of the night is Heath Slater versus Ryback, and I know what? I give this show credit. Technically, this is our 4th match, and there's not been any talking segments. Though this match was pointless. I also take note. Apparently the television cameras always ignore Ryback's pyros. You can hear them going off, but I've yet to ever see them. I don't know what the fuck they are. I don't know what they do. It's a cool show, I guess, for the people in the audience, but for me at home, I don't know what the fuck they are. I'm just saying, you're spending the money on it, put them on TV. You know, it's gonna be a squash. Slater barely gets any offense in. The only spot in this match worth mentioning is that Ryback goes to like Irish whip Slater, and Ryback just pulls on him, and then he's just got a hand. He's holding a fake hand. He ripped off a fake hand for Slater, and he's just like, what the hell is this? Slater's just like, it's Halloween, trick or treat. I tricked you. I tricked the big guy. And he's laughing. And Ryback's like, oh, you tricked the big guy. He's like, yeah, I tricked you. And Ryback's like, oh, yeah, you tricked me. And then he kills him. Ryback just kills him. I asked the question, how are you supposed to give Ryback good matches when every single one of his matches is a squash, lasts under a minute? I get that he's strong, I get that he's supposed to be powerful, but I'd actually like to watch a competitive match with him to see if he's actually any good in the ring. Because you can book anyone to squash people. It's a lot more impressive when you actually have someone put on a good show. Just saying. Then I say some guy is trick-or-treating backstage. Okay, I'm not bothering to look it up. I know he's a wrestler. I know from seeing other things that his thing is that they do this song that's but I don't know his name. I have no fucking clue what he's called. But he is just going from door to door backstage, trick-or-treating with a bunch of other people, and in between doors they're singing the song. And they're all having a good time, and I'm just getting annoyed. And the first one they come to is Goldust and Stardust. And Goldust and Stardust just kind of go, ha! Ah! And shut the door. They're just like, whatever. And go to the next one. And it's Sin Cara dressed up as Michelangelo from the Ninja Turtles, even though he's got a blue mask under the orange mask. I don't know. I just thought it'd be more fun if you. Just thought since you were wearing the blue, may as well have done Leonardo. I don't know. Next thing they do, they go around the corner and they all drop a load. The girls are screaming at the top of their lungs, and it's R-Truth with just a sheet over him. They all just got scared by someone running through with laundry. And R-Truth goes on about the bunny always upstaging the guy. And I'm just like, okay. Apparently apparently even the WWE has realized that it's not the guy that the crowd likes. It's everything around the guy that the crowd likes. But you know what? It's not smart to just point that stuff out. Oh, and R-Truth in probably probably one of the best little like nods I've ever seen to Charlie Brown. Just gives the guy a rock after giving everyone else candy. But overall, the scene was pointless. It was just a comedy bit. And next we have Ms. TV, and their guest is Mark Henry to explain why he attacked the Big Show. I question why we need Ms. TV to ask the question, because I'm pretty sure Mark Henry already said it's because the Big Show was jealous of him. I recall that from Raw. I have to laugh though, because I've come to real because as we're watching this, Mizdow even lip syncs what the Miz is saying. Stunt doubles don't do that. They don't do talking bits. It's not what a stunt double's for. A stunt double is to take the place of the actor, because the actor is usually not professionally trained to do a dangerous stunt. The stunt double is. And the stunt double comes in, dressed like him, and does a stunt. So that when we see the movie, we think it's the actor. And by the way, just saying, when your actor is clean shaven, you wouldn't have a stunt double with a fucking beard! You think Vince would know this? He's been in movies. I take note that because I'm watching Mizdow flap his lips, so I take note, and I just thought it'd be really funny if at some point, because I'm seeing these lips, at some point someone just like somehow cuts it together so that Mizdow is Beaker and the Miz is Bunsen Honeydew from the Muppets. I would love just to see that with Mizdow go. I thought that would be funny. The Mark Henry comes out, and I know that I'm amazed that in the PG era, Mark Henry's theme still flies. I also note that Mark Henry's costume is Isaac Hayes. Well, it should be. Because with the way he has his head shaved bald and the beard, he looks like Isaac Hayes. I'm not even joking. He comes out and says, apparently Big Show, during the match, was jealous that Mark Henry's getting all this attention, because Mark Henry was going to win the tag titles for both of them. You know, when you're in a title match, and you know, even Big Show kind of pointed this out during that title match, we're trying to win titles. You're not going to care who pins him. Just saying. Apparently, Big Show was also jealous, so he wanted to outdo Mark Henry by beating Rusev. And then Big Show comes out. Because enough of this charade. Enough of this bullshit. Enough of wasting our fucking time. I understand they're trying to build a feud here, but we're treading water by repeating things. Everyone already assumed this stuff. It didn't need to be said. When Big Show comes out, Michael Cole says, "I'm not sure I've ever seen Big Show this angry before." And my mind immediately goes back to the Big Show's feud with the Big Boss Man, where the Big Boss Man not only attacked Big Show, Big Boss. This was right after in storyline, Big Show's father died. Big Boss Man came out and read a disrespectful eulogy. He cornered Big Show's mom and made her lie about having an affair and Big Show being a bastard child. And to top it all off, Big Boss Man showed up at the fucking funeral and dragged away Big Show's father in the coffin. I'm pretty sure Big Show's been more pissed, Cole. This ends with a very short brawl where Henry basically just shoves Big Show through a wall and then leaves. And as he's leaving, he goes, "You want more? They ain't hard to find." And I'm just like, no shit, you're the big ball, you're the big triangle, you're the big rectangle-shaped black guy in the back, bald black guy in the back. Of course you're not hard to find. You're massive. That's just sort of funny, because it felt like he was stating the obvious. Match 5, which is an entertaining match, it was Golden Stardust versus Los Matadors. I forgot the Los Matadors existed. I figured they got cut a while ago. It's a very fast-paced, athletic match. Even Goldust does really well in this match, and he's really not super athletic. He's more of a brawler, type, really. Though I do note that this is another team who can pull twin magic, because they have nothing about their outfits that makes you know which one's which. At least the Usos have face paint on opposite sides, and they got their names printed on their asses. These two are exactly the same looking. I have no idea how the fuck the commentators know which one's which. Which is really funny, because these two look so similar, and the commentators are positive they know which one it is. Monday Night Raw, they kept commenting about they didn't know which Uso was in the ring. You can't do that. You can't do that. You can't have these two identically dressed guys who, because of their masks, you cannot tell them apart. And have the commentators know which one's which. And earlier that week, have two guys who are actually legitimately have differences about how they look, and have them say they don't know which one's which. You can't do that. It just makes your commentators look. It makes King and JBL look like idiots. And I guess Michael Cole too, because I don't know. Makes Michael Cole look like he doesn't care when he doesn't care about the Usos or something. I don't know. It's so inconsistent. It's stupid. I figure the only way they can tell the difference is one is slightly chubbier than the other. That's all I can figure. The finish comes because Goldust and Stardust like to pick on the little midget dressed like a bull. And while I understand they brought him into the ring, apparently he can perform moves on them that are both A, defy the laws of physics, and B, does not get a disqualification in this match. But because of this distraction that they caused themselves, Goldust and Stardust lose from a roll up from the distraction. We're going to be seeing a tag team title match in the future, probably. Next is another match. It's the Great Khali versus Rusev, and this is another one of those really, really short matches for the night. Kali gets in just a couple shots, and that's about it. And Rusev does a super kick followed by the camel clutch, and Kali taps out. I'm thinking to myself, I remember Vladimir Kozlov, and I'm pretty sure when he had been in WWE this long, he was having main event matches. The last big Russian guy we did. The woman with him comes in the ring and she starts talking, and I note that she's got she's got a worse fake Russian accent than Scarlett Johansson did in the Avengers. And Scarlett Johansson was fucking horrible in the Avengers. Seriously, she was the worst thing about that entire fucking film. I don't care what anyone says, she was terrible. She said they got orders from Russia to further attack the diminishing American spirit. I'm thinking to myself, who the fuck in Russia cares about... Who the fuck cares about the WWE enough to give Rusev orders? He even claims that he's going to go take Sheamus' U.S. belt and give it to Vladimir Putin. And with that, Sheamus comes out to accept the challenge, and I'm assuming at Survivor Series we have a U.S. title match between Sheamus and Rusev. I also think to myself back to the history of the U.S. title, and first of all, neither of these are two non-Americans fighting for it, and I think back to the history, and I'm like, I really think more foreigners have held the U.S. belt than Americans. Not that that's a problem, it's just weird to me. The next match is going to be Dean Ambrose versus Cesaro, which I was actually interested in seeing since I didn't get to see it on Raw. But it's going to be a trick or street fight. But before that, Bray Wyatt comes out, and this is our last segment. That's a not match. And I'm wondering where the rest of the Wyatts are. I know they did a vignette where apparently he set the one guy free, but that still doesn't explain where the guy with the goat mask is, or sheep mask, whatever it is. And then he goes on about Halloween and how we're trying to we dress up to escape how much we hate our lives. And I'm just wondering, how the hell does just dressing up for fun one day equal we hate everything about our lives? That doesn't really make much sense. But then again, I guess he's a crazy man, so it doesn't have to make sense. Then he starts talking about Dean Ambrose, about how he always wears a mask and pretends to be one of us. Considering Dean Ambrose's gimmick is he's insane, and they on several occasions say he should be institutionalized, I don't see how he's pretending to be one of us. Assuming that by us they mean sane, non-violent individuals. And at the end of this, most of it wasn't important because he just kind of talked about how he was a monster. He calls Dean Ambrose a monster. Then at the end of this, he says, and by the way, Dean, she still cries for you. And so I'm thinking, is he talking about the hologram of the girl from Hell in a Cell? And the only thing I can assume here that Bray Wyatt's talking about is that he's talking to a spirit, because he's got kind of like voodoo magic. But he's calling Dean Ambrose a monster, and he's talking about some woman who apparently is a spirit. It's crying for him. I'm just thinking, the only thing I can really think that explains this is Dean Ambrose fucking murdered someone. Did Dean Ambrose murder someone? I'm assuming what they're actually going to do is that this is a dead girlfriend that he used to have or something like that. But they really are painting it like he murdered someone. I guess we'll find out. Next, we have our trick or street fight match, which is a street fight match just with the Halloween stuff at the ring. And I had to note that Cesaro's theme is headache-inducing. I really just want that fucking Miracle song back because all his theme songs have sucked, except for that one. Half this match is spent with Cesaro just smacking the ever-loving hell out of Ambrose with a kendo stick. Now, honestly, I can't blame him because that microphone assault on Monday Night Raw, yeah, Ambrose had it coming. At one point, while Cesaro's still in control, he's got all these jack-o'-lanterns around the ring. He gathers them all in the center of the ring. And by now, I think everyone knows that when someone in a match sets up for a spot, they're probably the one going through it. And this happens twice in this match, by the way. Not both times are not jack-o'-lanterns, but twice in this match, Cesaro sets up a spot, and he's the one that gets it. So after some more fighting, and Cesaro throwing Dean Ambrose over one of the announcer tables, Cesaro gets flipped over Ambrose and slams back first on those pumpkins. And then they fight to the outside of the ring where Cesaro forces Dean Ambrose to bob for apples, and Ambrose just spits the water in Cesaro's face, and I'm like, that just blew up right in your fucking face. Literally, didn't it? It's entertaining. And then Cesaro sets up a table. And I'm thinking throughout this match, too, even though they're fighting with pumpkins and shit, it's just still more believable than the fucking plushies from Hardcore Justice. Cesaro sets up a table, and then he ends up getting put on the table and gets elbowed by Ambrose through the table. And then they proceed to fight some more. They get in the ring. Ambrose takes one of the jack-o'-lanterns and puts it on Cesaro's head, and then hits the DDT, his DDT finisher. I forget what it's called. And gets the pin for the win. And then he does it again for no reason. And Dean Ambrose is the face. He's the good guy. Now, Cesaro had every legitimate reason to be angry in this match, but Dean Ambrose, who has no bone to pick with Cesaro, it is completely fine for him to attack him after the match. Because he's crazy. Because just like Randy Orton, being insane is an excuse to be an asshole face. I didn't complain as I have far fewer complaints about this show than I did Raw. But that's mostly because this episode didn't immediately shoot the build-up for the pay-per-view right in the foot and say, ha ha ha, that was pointless, wasn't it? I'll continue doing this if someone wants to listen, I'm not getting the network. I don't care if it's free. Survivor Series does not have a title match, so who the fuck cares? Someone comes on here and says, "Hey, I'd really like to watch Survivor Series, hear what you have to say about Survivor Series." Maybe I'll consider it, but until someone does that, nope. Anyways, thanks for listening. I'll see you later. I'll see you later. I'll see you later. I'll see you later. I'll see you later.